What transition are you in right now? Welcome to Kirsti Cast, the show where we hope to illuminate, entertain, and engage our listeners, helping them create the life they want. I'm your host, Kirsti Manna. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Kirsti Cast. Thanks so much for being here today, whether you're listening to us on audio or you're checking us out on YouTube. We really appreciate you taking the time. I'm here today with Bill Warner. Of course, you know Bill and I are married, and he's here as the mad scientist, running the lights and doing all the techie stuff behind the scenes, checking the mics. I should write a song about that. Anyway, couldn't do it without him since, as you know, I am technically challenged and kind of proud of it. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about transitions. Transitions. They are really difficult. I went through a really tough transition recently. My mom passed away in April. And thanks so much to all of you who reached out to us about my mom's passing. We really appreciate your thoughts and prayers on that. But transitions are really difficult. And I feel like, I've been getting a little bit better every day as the time passes. I'll always miss my mom terribly and miss talking to her because she was so much fun to know and to have conversations with. And she was just a great mom all around. But transitions are so tough. And one thing that really got me thinking about transitions was when I was in, of all places, yoga class. We have a really great yoga instructor. The studio is kind of reopening right now. It's called the Groove Room, and it's in Hermitage, Tennessee, near where I live. And the teacher's name is Dawn Stat. And Dawn is really a cool person. She's a life coach too. And so she really knows how to nurture people that she's working with. And one thing that she said one night when we were in yoga class was that pose to pose, you are transitioning. And it's really, how do you get from pose to pose in yoga to really feel like you can get there from A to B, so to speak. And sometimes that transition is really, really difficult. And so I don't know if any of you practice yoga out there. I hope you do. It's great. But maybe you've noticed that in your practice. And we transition for so many different reasons in life. Life's full of them all the time, day to day. Sometimes we really have to live in those transitions for a while till we go from A to B, so to speak. Always makes me think about one of my favorite songs written by Bobby Braddock. It's called Time Marches On, and it was recorded by an artist named Tracy Lawrence some years ago. But my favorite line is that song is the only thing that stays the same as everything changes, right? And so I guess we have to kind of think about life being that way. So that's what I mean about that we're always transitioning in life. Some of the things that make us transition are really, it seems like things that we would be excited about, like growing up or moving to a new house, getting married, adjusting to something like going to college, arrival of a baby, maybe, becoming a parent for the first time. Maybe your kids grow up and you're an empty nester, and that's a big transition in life. Divorce or separation, those are things that where people really have to live through the transition, and sometimes it's very difficult, obviously, emotionally. Retirement, that seems like a really fun thing to go through, retirement. But how many times have you heard women say, oh my gosh, my husband retired, and it's like, what am I going to do? He's driving me crazy, blah, blah, blah. Well, same thing for those of us that are living with people that have retired and helping them learn what it's like to live a life where they're not having to go to work every day. Sometimes issues of aging are transitions that we have to work through. Some people have a hard time with aging. Some people don't know what to do with life as it changes, their body changes. Another transition. And the biggest one for me is, not for me personally, but that I think is really important for people, is questioning your life's purpose. So many people have a problem figuring out what their purpose is in life and transitioning as things change in life. I hope that you're able to find out what your life purpose is if you don't know what it is today. I think it's a really cool thing to soul search on and think about what you're passionate about. And those passions and those things that motivate you in life to feel better and give you joy, they can really help you get through a transition. Connecting with others is a great way to help you work through how you're feeling about things not feeling as good as they used to maybe in life. So I hope that you're reaching out to people that really support you with a lot of love. And I hope those tips help you in regards to transitioning in life. We're going to be right back with an amazing Shiro Spotlight. Don't go away. Stay tuned for the Shiro Spotlight. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Shiro Spotlight. And today I have a very special guest, a really special friend, and a new friend, actually, that I've met in Nashville recently, maybe like in the last 6 months, 8 months, something like that, I think. But she is originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is a city that I think is so cool. What a cool place to be from. And she moved down here to Nashville, and she incorporates a fresh folk country sound into beautifully written songs. And she's a modern day folkie. So you folkies out there are going to really relate. She loves to weave tales of love lost, dreams dreamed, and hope fulfilled with stunning country and rock sensibilities. You know, kind of, she's real impressed with Sheryl Crow's music. She loves Carole King. She's, listening to some really good people here to be inspired. I think it's really cool. And she's a singer-songwriter. And also, she's collaborated with me and also Bill DeLuigi. And she has released a record called Like Stardust, which was released last July 12th. Wait a minute, that's our anniversary. I guess it was in honor of our anniversary that she released. But the record is beautiful. You should listen to it and stream it. And she's been featured on Nashville's WMOT Roots Radio, Lightning 100. She's debuted live on WSM, the Grand Ole Opry radio station, and was also featured on Fox 17 on the iHeartRadio podcast in Nashville. And she is a really great person. And she also works with special needs kids, which we're going to talk about on this show. She performs all over Nashville when we're having venues that are open. And I'm so glad to welcome her here to the Shiro Spotlight, my dear friend, Judy Paster. Welcome, Judy.
Oh, great to be here. Hi,
I'm so glad that you could do this with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, we're getting to know each other pretty well, and we know each other's music and everything, but a lot of people may not have heard about you, and I want them to know all about you. And so I wanted to ask you this question. What is the most profound subject you've ever put into music? What do you feel like is one of the most profound subjects?
Well, my dad was sick a few years back. He had started to lose his memory and, just gradually became sicker and sicker with that and ended up being diagnosed with dementia and then / Alzheimer's. And then he passed away a few years ago. It was very progressive and slow, but not at the end. And it took me a few years to tackle that topic, to write a song, but I finally did last year. I would say that that's kind of the most personally difficult. I really didn't want to write a song about that, but I ended up writing a song about that. It's on the record that you mentioned, Like Stardust, and the song is called With a Kiss, and you can go and find that song. And it has to do with my dad's with that sickness, and anybody that has ever dealt with somebody that lost their memory can relate to the song. So
right, it's really difficult. My dad had dementia, and he lived for a long time with it, and he never really got to the point where he didn't know us or anything like that, which I felt like that was a blessing, because that would have been really difficult to go through. And I know so many people live through that with a loved one or their parent. For me, it was just the idea that somebody, lives this great life, and then they lose all of that, and which means they lose you, a part of you too, because they can't remember things they did with you, or that kind of stuff. But the song is beautiful, and I think it's really nice. I hope people go and check it out. It's
Thank you.
really, really heartfelt. So what made you want to move to Nashville? I'm not even sure if I know the answer to that question.
Well, I actually came for the first time with my friend Bill DeLuigi, who you also are
Right.
with. And he kind of showed me around a bit, showed me the ropes, and I met some writers and met some of the music community and some other people down here, and was just very impressed with, like, overall with the different communities and how they were all connected. And I felt very at home down here. But that was like 8 years before I was able to actually make the move. But
Wow.
it was in my heart, to move down here. Yeah, eventually. I think it was 8 years. Maybe it was 5 years. I can't remember right now. Oops. But I think it was that
It's
long.
all running together.
It took a while to actually make the move. And then
Yeah.
when I finally did, it was everything and more that I thought it would be.
Oh, and you met your husband here
I
in
did.
Nashville.
I did meet my husband, and this is just like a little private story I'll share with anybody that's watching. But I really felt, for some reason, I don't know why, I felt like my husband, like 10 years before I got here, was in Nashville. Like, it was so weird.
Wow.
And then when I started coming down here, I wasn't like focused on meeting my husband. I was coming for music and writing and a few other things. But my husband was here.
Right.
It was very interesting. So yeah, I married him.
That's so cool. So tell me how Nashville inspires you.
Well, I would just say that, again, it's that the sense of the community that really captured my heart. The level and quality of, obviously, the commitment to songwriting and the commitment to musicianship and all of those things. But it's also like the kindness of people. You can really find people that are creative types of people that are making a living doing it, like yourself, and that you really connect with, you develop friendships with, you write music with, and you live your life with. So that was something that was concentrated in a nice little beautiful
Yeah.
city.
Well, it's really interesting too, because those of us that have lived here in Nashville for a while, um, you leave Nashville, even if you go back to your hometown, and it feels really different, not just because you're so immersed in the music part of it. There's just this vibe over Nashville, the way people connect together creatively. And so I think that's why so many people get drawn here. They come to visit, and then they go, wait a minute, I want to live here. And I always tell people, well, make sure you just don't feel like you're on vacation, because you do have to make a living wherever you live. But I really always think that about Nashville. When you leave and you go somewhere else, it's a really unique place.
Yes, it's a beautiful city. I love, there's nothing I don't love about Nashville. I mean, nothing is 100% anything on this planet, but I feel a sense of belonging here. I felt that before I moved here, and
Uh-huh.
I pursued that feeling because I wanted to be in a place where I was around my people.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite the right fit where I'm from. I'm from Philadelphia, and that just never really had that feel for me. So
But now you've got to miss the Italian food and pizza in Philadelphia. Come on. I mean, they're just not that kind of Italian food in Nashville unless you come to my house. I'll
right,
cook it for you.
which I will come to your house again, and maybe we'll have some Italian food. I mean, I don't really miss the Philadelphia food. I have to say, I never was like, people are like, oh, the cheesesteaks and all this stuff, but I'm
I'm
like,
not a big fan of those.
no, I'm not either.
Yeah.
When I was like a teenager, I mean, yeah, pizza and cheesesteaks and all that, but I don't know. I kind of like, because I veered to California for college, I got into like the earthy, crunchy,
Yeah.
style out there. And that was, so it was like Philly, um, California, Nashville, that kind of a order.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so out there, I just kind of really got into like more natural foods and stuff. So, and now I'm kind of like back in the center a little bit.
Okay. Well, it's good to be balanced.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's not like we eat pizza every day, but once in a while, it's good to have a slice, right?
Yes.
So, how have you been coping with being a performing artist in Nashville during this pandemic? What have you been doing to cope with that? What have you been doing?
Uh, I've been doing some of these Zoom meetings, you know,
Uh-huh.
uh, co-writing on Zoom, keeping that going, and some Facebook Lives, and just dealing with. We've had some like family things going on in my husband's family,
Mm-hmm.
so there's been quite a bit of distraction anyway. But I've gotten a lot of great practice in. I've just booked my first two shows back in July, so
Oh, cool. Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be at the listening room, and I'm going to be at the smokehouse, which is like out in Mont Eagle on the
Oh,
mountain.
yeah. Up there on the hill.
Yes, up there on the hill. And that's all I have booked, but I mean, I hadn't played out yet since March. So
Yeah.
I still, other than my Facebook Live shows, and
Yeah.
those are, just different.
It is different. It's a really different vibe, because you're talking to yourself, you're talking to the screen or the external camera, whatever you want to talk about. And it's really different than when you're playing in front of an audience, and you kind of miss the little sounds and everything you hear from people and people's reactions to something you say, if it's funny or applause or or whatever it is. It's
Yeah,
really, you have to fill your own holes.
it's so different, like looking up at your computer and reading the names of the people in the comments and like hearts, and you're just like, okay, I hope you guys like this.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Sometimes I would see some heart. I did a couple of those shows, and I see some of those hearts going. It's like maybe they hit that by mistake. I'm kidding. But it is really, it is a different thing to get used to. And I really think it separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls, because you really have to have it together to do these things. You have to be prepared, and you have to think about all, of course, women, we have to think about makeup and all this stuff. But I feel like you're so scrutinized, when
Yeah,
you're doing it, because you're worried about your lighting. And I know we talked about that when you were going to start doing some of those. We talked about lighting, and because
yeah,
I'm a lightaholic. I love
yeah,
little lights. I love light. I guess if I would have been in production, I would have been a lighting person. So I think it's really interesting.
yeah, it is. You're good
So
at,
what were you going to say?
I said, you're good at lighting. I mean,
Oh, I don't know if I'm good at it, but I just think it's real interesting. Um, I know that you work with special needs children and teens, and I just wondered, how has that kind of work really enhanced your creativity? How do you feel like it's moved you as a writer, as a singer, as a person?
yeah. Well, those kids, the whole special needs community, they're very authentic. They're very in the moment typically, and
Right.
so I do a music program, and I plan it, but I also leave a lot of room for if I want to change the course in the moment, because they're so typically imaginative. So
Mm-hmm.
I might be playing a song, and they want to become a frog, for example. So I might do a frog song in the moment. I might make it up, maybe with like two or three chords. It's just whatever I feel. Um,
Right.
or they might want to like have a picnic, and we like eat different foods to music. I mean, it just like it depends. But the way that it affects me, I think, is just keeping there's a like a purity to
Yes. Mhm.
that that I love, and really like it keeps me. I wouldn't say like it's not young, but it's just like a purity, like I said, and just being able to be in the moment. And that's what I love about working with them.
when I was in college, I part of my student teaching was to work with these autistic kids,
Hmm.
and that was a lot of fun. You know, getting to teach them songs, and a lot of the songs that we taught had motions and that kind of thing. You know, and so it really makes you appreciate your 5-year old. You know, when you get to do fun songs like that with kids, uh, and you know, and we also did. Do you ever do any work with them where you play different instruments or anything like that?
Hmm. I
What do
do
you
like
do there?
I do like shaker eggs for sure. I do shaker eggs, and that can be like different, just a motor, skills,
Motor skills, you're right.
sky, floor, or ground, or we shake them. I could do sometimes. I do body parts. I have a song if I feel like I want to do that. It depends how silly the kids are. You don't always want to do body parts, but um,
Yeah, that could
I
go
do
another
like
way. No kidding.
I do rhythm sticks.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Rhythm with the sticks, which they love, and they're good at. I do a lot of repetition with that, so it'll be
Hmm.
like we could do hang on the same song, and they love it, and they get good at whatever it is.
Do,
Um,
do you remember when you were in school, studying, you know, in college, did you ever talk about or work with Orff instruments? Do you remember those? I mean, that might not even be something they use in schools anymore, but it was a thing of counting, you know, simple counting, and playing simple instruments, to develop motor skills and counting. It was pretty interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, those. The other thing we have, that Instruments for Education. My friend has a foundation called
Uh,
Instruments for,
and that's
and
based here in Nashville, right?
that's based here in Nashville, and they donated to me, or to my teaching, a keyboard so I could take it with me and plug it in, and then I let everyone has a turn. They love that.
Yeah.
Um, a couple extra guitars and some other percussion instruments. So it just like depends. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So I always ask all of my guests, what is your power word?
Well, I thought about this question, and I decided that my power word is strength, because
Oh, good.
you have to have strength to endure being like a creative person and pursuing it.
Yeah, that's so
um,
true.
yeah, and like strength in really everything, and faith, and I mean, you gotta like be, you gotta have tenacity. You gotta
Yeah,
hang on,
yeah,
and you don't let go, and that's how you kind of. Sometimes it comes easy, and you can let go, and other times you just keep holding on, unless it's like something that you feel like you need to let go, and then let it
right.
go.
Well,
So
and having a music career is a very entrepreneurial thing,
yeah,
because it's not just about playing an instrument. It's about having headshots and having promo, writing a bio, working with people that are going to elevate you in some way, that are going to push you. It's about persevering when it's getting tough, when things are plateauing, you know. And the
yeah,
biggest thing too, I think, is the thing of having faith. You know, and and it takes a lot of strength and courage to be an entrepreneur. It
yeah.
really does, because people will tell you, especially in the music business, when things aren't always tangible, people
Mhm.
will try to tell you that, you're crazy to chase that dream, get a job, get a day job, do that
Right.
on the weekend, and if it's really in your heart, it's hard to turn your back on that, I think,
I agree.
you
Definitely.
know? So that's a great power word. So finish this sentence for me. The
Uh-oh.
number one thing I'm grateful for today is
Oh, okay. That one's easy.
Kirsty. No, I'm kidding.
It's one of them,
I just had to say that. Just I knew you'd get a chuckle on it.
but the number one thing I would say is my marriage.
That's nice.
'Cause it inside my marriage is like faith and music, creativity, all of these things, songwriting. I mean, not that he's specifically a songwriter, but we share music like you and your husband. We
Yeah.
share, um, I mean, everything. When you wait and marry the right person, or when you don't wait, but he becomes the right person, or they become the right person,
Right.
you share everything in that marriage. So that's what I'm really grateful for. Yeah.
Well, and that's a nice thing that we share together as friends is, we have really best friends with our husbands in our marriages, and that's a really nice thing. And I always wish that for everybody. I always say it's all about the
Yeah.
really liking who you're with, and we're fortunate in that way to really like those two guys that we
Like our guys.
live with and are married to, and they drive us a little cuckoo sometimes, but what are you going to do? We know we drive them cuckoo. I mean, how could we not? We're so
Yeah.
fabulous, right?
Women.
Women, I know. What's that Brandy Clark song that we went to see Brandy Clark together? What's that? Crazy Women. That song is great. I love it. Well, tell everybody where they can find you online. Where are all your places that people can find you and know where they can go hear you play?
Yes, they can just go right to my website. It's Judy Paster, JudyPaster.com. And from there, you can get to like my YouTube, my Facebook music page, my Instagram, I'm very active on, all under Judy Paster Music. So they can find me. And of course, I'm on, like, my music is on all the streaming
Right,
platforms, whatever you like. Yeah.
right. And everybody needs to go and stream your record, your album, your CD. I still call it those things, called Like Stardust, which has so many really beautiful songs on it. And it's recorded beautifully. It was recorded here in Nashville at
Thank you.
Omni Studios, which is my favorite place to record to. So,
Yeah.
Judy, I want to thank you for being here today. You are always such a delight, and we could talk for another 2 hours or something, probably. But of course, that would be we could maybe go for the longest interview in the Guinness World Book of Records.
Yeah. I have more answers to your questions prepared. We'll have to do that next time.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. Well, we want to thank you so much for being here. Everybody, go listen to Judy Paster everywhere on Spotify, all the streaming platforms, and check her out. If you're in Nashville, maybe you'll catch her live performance sometime. Thanks for being in the Shiro Spotlight with us, Judy. We're going to be right back.
You're my hero, more than a hero, and I look up to you every single day. Every day, my celebration, my inspiration is to be like you, but in my own way. You're my hero, more than.
Thanks so much to Roxanne Charette for writing that song with me, You Are My Shiro, and for singing that duet with me. We always have fun when we get to work together. And thanks so much to Judy Paster for being such a great guest on our Shiro Spotlight. And I thought since Judy was a guest on the show today, it would be fun to play a song that Judy and I wrote together. Well, I had this idea called Honey Hush. And when we got together to write, I thought it would be fun to write a song about, being married and the noise that sometimes men can make in the middle of the night. Now, in my particular house, sometimes it ends up being snoring. I know that, guys like to say, I'm not snoring, but of course, we that are awake from the snoring know they are actually in real time snoring. And then, of course, we have a conversation the next morning that basically boils down to, you got to stop snoring. So anyway, we thought we would write this song. Hope you love it. You can check my music out at Spotify and at Kirsti.com. Here goes. Tupperware lid hits the kitchen floor, leftovers at 3 a.m. We just ate 5 hours ago, why you gotta eat again? In the middle of the night, a little noise will cause a fight, tiptoeing like King Kong. TV's up so loud, swear the neighbors know what channel's on. Honey, hush, honey, hush. Did you hear what I said? Come back to bed. Wanna get some sleep before the sun comes up. Hold me in your arms so I don't have to say it so much. Honey, hush, honey, hush, honey, hush. Stop snoring, honey, hush. That's a little bit of Honey Hush. Hope you enjoyed it. Check my music out again at Spotify and Kirsti.com. We'll be right back with What the Tech.
What the Tech? What the Tech?
Welcome back to What the Tech. And of course, I love this segment because I am personally a self-admitted, technically challenged human being. And so I decided that it was going to make it my mission to find tech gadgets and tech apps and tech items that I thought might help my life and then would help yours as well. Well, one of my favorite tech items that I purchased is something that I'm using right now. You can't see it because it's behind the scenes, but it is one of the most wonderful things in the world. It's called a ring light. And you've probably seen these, on TV, maybe when they're showing some kind of a makeup artist tutorial on YouTube, something like that. It's wonderful because what a ring light does is it emphasizes the beautiful part of you. It kind of emphasizes details and hides shadows. And it does that because it's this circular design. It's got a soft light. And, these things are perfect for portraits or, say you're an artist, a recording artist, a performing artist, and you're doing some kind of a meet and greet. You want to have a place where people and fans can take pictures with you. You can set up one of these ring lights and everybody will look fabulous. Well, I also remembered that I had been somewhere and had gotten a little mini ring light. And look what this thing does. It attaches onto your iPhone. Let me show you. The button is right here. And you can adjust it with different varying lighting ability here. Look at it. It's got low, medium, and high. And then when you're taking a selfie, voila, you've got your own little personal ring light and you will look fantastic. Ring lights are made by all different kinds of companies. You can check them out on Amazon, would probably be my pick of where to buy one. And I think we paid something like, $60 for our ring light. But I love it. I cannot live without it. If it breaks, I'm going to immediately get a new one because I love how it makes me feel. Hope you're going to go get yourself a ring light too. We'll be right back.
Meow, not bow wow. Meow, not bow wow. Meow, not bow wow. Meow, not bow wow.
I love that little song, Meow, Not Bow Wow, one of our originals. Well, I started thinking about cats. And cats and how they don't like change, like so many of us. And cats really need help when things in their life are going to change. For example, one of the biggest ones is if you have to move. Cats are one of the hardest animals, hardest pets to move. They just don't adjust very well. And so I was thinking about some of the things that you could do if you have to move with your cat. They're very territorial. So one thing that you might think about doing is when you're getting ready to move, put something in the room that a cat can sit on and get its scent on. And then you'll be able to put that in your new home, a condo, apartment, wherever you're going, and the cat will find that comforting. Also, you're going to need boxes to move, right? So cats love boxes. So you can get some boxes and place them around. Get the cat used to sitting in the box, exploring the box. That's something that is going to help them transition well too when they go to their new home. Also, cats like to spend a lot of time hanging out with you. And so make sure that you spend a lot of time, giving them a lot of love and petting them and, don't ignore them when things start to go a little erratic. Last but not least, really use your cat carrier to help your cat transition. Get the carrier, maybe spray some of that product called Feel Away in there. It's kind of like a pheromone inducing scent for cats. You could put a towel or blanket or something in the carrier. Get them used to that carrier because when you move, they're going to be spending a lot of time in that carrier. I would not advise putting a cat loose in a room in a new home without it being in a carrier. That cats, like to feel safe and snug, secure. Some cats enjoy hiding to feel safer. And so that would be something that I would definitely be using when I was moving and transitioning my cat to a new place to live. Hope those tips helped. And of course, Henry, he's doing fine. Thanks for asking. His latest thing is that He is crying at the studio door. Bill can be sitting right next to him, and for some reason, he thinks Bill is still in the room. I don't know what that means, but hopefully he doesn't need psychological help to get over the fact that he misses Bill that badly. Anyway, it's been great having you with us on the show. Thanks so much for being with us today here on Kirsti Cast. We're going to be back next week. As always, we want to thank our guest for today, Judy Paster. We want to thank our sponsors, Warner Works, The Outreach Book, and also Music Pays My Rent. If you would like to work with me, I would love to work with you. Let's get together and talk about your career, or let me help you mentor and tweak some of your career ideas, your creative ideas. I would love to do that. You can email me at info@songwritergirl.com, and we can hang out together and see how we can improve your creative life. I'm going to be back next week with an exciting new guest. Hope that you're going to check me out online, on social media. Just look me up, Kirsti Manna, and I'll be there smiling back at you. And I hope you're going to be back next week. Whatever you do, stay inspired. Thanks for being here. You've been listening to Kirsti Cast.